What did you tell Coach T when he first got to the Steelers?
So I'll give you the same advice that Chuck Noll gave me. None. Figure it out yourself. And good luck. If you ever need a call, call. I never called Chuck. He's never called me. We always have a beer and we get together and just talk about what a great job we have. Oh, wow. That's a good idea. I like that defense. I go, next time when you tell us when you're going to do this shit, he's wiping his shoes with our terrible towel. And that's the only thing I showed the night before the game.
Support for this show comes from Starbucks. It's finally here. No, I'm not talking about fantasy football. 4 words: Starbucks pumpkin spice lattes. Embrace fall with this seasonal classic pumpkin spice latte. Handcrafted with Starbucks signature espresso, steamed milk, and real pumpkin. Then topped with whipped cream, cinnamon, and nutmeg. Starbucks pumpkin spice latte. Get it while it's hot or iced. All right, guys, welcome back to Not Just Football. I'm Cam Heyward. You know Hayden Walsh as well. And today we are joined by Super Bowl winning head coach Bill Cowher. Coach, I got to say, I have this podcast and people like to think I just like to hear myself talk. I get to talk to some pretty cool guys, and you are one of them. I am very thankful to talk to you today, Coach.
Oh, hey, listen, Cam, I've watched you for your 15th year now going there. You came right after I left, and, no one has represented that team better than you have. And I've said this to you before, what you've done for the community, the organization. You know what it's like to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. And listen, your dad went to Pitt, and so you have that Pittsburgh blood in you.
Well, you got that Pittsburgh blood too.
Yeah.
And I got to start off, we played the Browns yesterday. It's a little late, but Coach, we got to talk. What are you thinking about the AFC North right now?
Well, listen, I think right now what you have, certainly with Joe Burrow going down, to change a little bit of the landscape in Cincinnati. I know you have them this week and going against Joe Flacco. The only team he hasn't played for in the AFC North has been the Steelers, So tell Aaron, he better beware. If he has a good game, Mike might go out and get him. He can complete the cycle. But I think when you look at the Browns, they've got a good defense. They got a young quarterback. I think you guys did a great job with Quashon Judkins. I think he's a really good running back, and I thought that was a big challenge for you guys. You still look at Baltimore, and I think the rash of injuries they've had, and they've dug themselves a little bit of a hole right now. And so, I just think where you guys are right now, you look at your schedule. I know you have to stay in the now. Michael makes you take his thing, but I think as you've been down this path before, it's important for guys like you in that locker room to take nothing for granted, not to get too complacent and too comfortable. But at the same time, just recognize the opportunity you have. And as I've said this before, I'd love to see you guys start utilizing a lot more bodies so that you and TJ and Aaron, you guys and Jalen, you're healthy in December, in January, when we need you to have some fresh legs. I used to sit there and just try to shorten the game by running the football at the end of a game, just to eliminate the snaps. Because, the less snaps you have, the more you're going to have at the end of the year, right? So you only have so much in that body.
Coach, you talk about being complacent. John Mitchell used to always tell me, my old D-line coach, that you would, go after the assistant coaches to go ahead and poke at all the players. Is that true?
I was hard on the assistant coaches. There was a lot of good cop, bad cop, and I was probably the good cop. But I made the coaches accountable. We watched every film. There were times they would watch the film over, and I would sit there and I'd go, "Wow," and I'd stop the film, and all of a sudden Coach LeBeau would say something like, "We're going to be okay." I go, "We're going to be okay." I just saw 4 mental errors. I got 5 guys that don't even run into the football, and we're going to be okay. What bothers me is it doesn't bother you. I go, no. I says, and I go, you know what? Maybe we'll just take half this stuff out. We'll play 2 coverages and we'll play 2 defenses, because if they can't handle this mentally, and if all of a sudden they're just getting lackadaisical, okay, well then let's see how you go in there and just play with it and have no complexity with what we're doing. So I was, Coach LeBeau was always he was very laid back. We were I would walk out of the meetings and slam the door. I think it was a terrible practice, but so the message was sent to them, and then obviously it trickled down to the players.
Oh, you are a puppet master. I love that. You've had a lot of Hall of Fame players. Was there anything special you did with the players?
No, you know what, Cam? I think like it was just getting the right guys. I mean, I look at that defensive line. I always thought it'd start at the line. That was it to me. Getting Casey Hampton and Aaron Smith and Kiesel and Kimo von Hoffen. I mean, these were guys that were like, Mitch had him. And listen, I got Mitch. I had Mitch. He was with me for 14 of my 15 years, and getting with him is like Mitch would let me know, and I'd say Mitch, and I'd give him that look. He goes, I know, I'll get on him. I got to practice a little bit better. I go, I know. I go, I'm good. I go, Mitch, give Kimo off. So you have to know where guys are. They don't need to take a 9-on-7s. They're good. I know they're good. Let's get these backups some playing time. But it was the lines to me was really represented and really reflected us was the offensive and defensive lines. I always thought the game worked from the inside out, not the outside in. And we had our receivers and guys like Hines, who was almost like he reflected us so much in just how he played the game, and he loved a good KO block as much as he loved the reception. So it was like the blocking for the running game. And it's funny, guys. You know this, Cam, because I said we get into later on we had Willie Parker, so I had like Jerome kind of was like a closer for us, in the fourth quarter. He chased Willie all day and bring Jerome in, but it's 255 pounds. I mean, he's not running away from anybody. Now you're so tired, he's running over you. And all the guys would get in there and they'd get on the sideline and Big Hamp and they'd be going, oh, it's bus time. It's right, Coach, it's time to ride the bus. I said, I got you, Hamp. They wanted to see that clock run, just tick, 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 tick. So we were not the most explosive team, but we found ways to win games, gritty, tough. We didn't beat ourselves. Very, very big on that, making sure there was no pre-snap penalties, get a feel for how they're calling the game. And we can't turn the football over. And that really was kind of the basic fundamentals that we played the game with.
Coach, I'm interested. How do you think the current Pittsburgh Steelers are? Obviously, we're 6 weeks in. How do you think they're trending this season so far?
I like it. Listen, I think the biggest thing is just the identity that A-Rod's given you on offense. I think he's given you some credibility for the first time since Benson's been there. I think he brings a little bit. It's not up to Cam and TJ to have to lead that group now. You got a young offensive line. And I just think that line, if we can keep those guys together, they're going to get better as the year goes on because the communication and the feel for one another, the confidence they have, I think continuing to get the running game going a little bit. You've got a few guys now. I thought Caleb ran really good the other day, which is good to see. But, Warren is he's just a little rolling ball. But I think getting that running game going, and Aaron didn't take many hits. I think keeping him upright, having that balance on offense. I think defensively, I love what you guys did, Cam. I mean, I think you're getting a Jalen Ramsey, and I think Patrick Queen played his butt off the other day. He was all over that field. And then you got some depth on the inside. I mean, like where you are, I think the front seven, you guys are 2 or 3 deep. And I think that's going to pay dividends down the road. And I think secondary-wise, again, with Darius and Jalen, I think, I thought Juan Thornton, I think he was a good player when he won a championship with Kansas City. So you've added some veterans who've been there before, who have a lot of experience, and they're on the other side of their careers. And I think that's a lot to be said. I kind of made this analogy. It's kind of like where the New England Patriots were when they were running those Super Bowls. You saw guys like Rodney Harrison. You saw guys like Andy Moss. You saw guys like Junior Seau. They went there because it was like they started to appreciate that the window of time was closing. Where can I go where it's all about championship football? And that's what the vibe is when you walk in that building. And I think that's what you kind of had. I think this offseason with Omar bringing in the guys he brought in with what the current group that you have right now, Cam, you being the leader in that locker room, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I just feel like it was a good mix. You got young guys, but man, you getting that pedigree and getting more than 1 or 2, and particularly on the offensive side of the ball, I thought was important.
Yeah, I think having a guy like Aaron and DK, they just bring a level of professionalism to the group. The way they compete and the way they work during practice isn't talked about enough in the communication they have. And then bringing a guy like Jalen, who, he's a Swiss Army knife. He can be all over the field, just allows you to, be that, versatile in your group. We've had trades like this before, but it's kind of similar to like when you guys brought, Jerome over and James Ferrier. Speak
Right.
about those.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's huge. I think it's, when you can have some guys that have been there, and Jerome was there, and even to the end, like when James Ferrier came in to be able to run that defense. I mean, he was a big part of what we were trying to do. And then, getting the Chris Hope leads, we bring Ryan Clark in, a veteran guy, because we had to let Troy kind of do his thing. Troy was going to be one of those guys. He's going to take chances. He's going to do those things. But, I let him do it. I don't want to harness greatness, but, he's going to be wrong a few times too. So sometimes
Coach, you got to tell me, though, like when Troy first did it,
yeah.
what were you thinking when Troy would come out of the deep third and he's blitzing?
Well, can I tell you, here's a great story. So we're playing against the Cincinnati Bengals and Carson Palmer. And Troy's up there in the box. We have cover 2 call. He's in the box. And all of a sudden, he's still in the box. And I said, Troy's okay. I'm big on disguising, but man, Troy, you're taking disguise to another level, man. Like, you can't be playing half the field at the snap. You're in the A gap. I go, no. So you can't be doing it. So we're sitting there, and all of a sudden we're going, cloud. And Troy's going like this. The ball snapped. I go, Dick, he didn't get the call. And the ball's thrown to flat, and Troy goes in there and he makes a tackle. I go, Troy, it was cover 2. He goes, I know it was cover 2. But I thought if it was in the box, Carson would think it's a 3-deep defense. I just told Deshae, you play half the field. I'll take the flat. I go, oh, wow, that's a good idea. I like that defense. I go, next time when you tell us when you're going to do this. So I was just like, but you know what? He was that type of guy that, sometimes, he'd get in there and he would go for it. I mean, he may have the flat, but if he could get to the quarterback before the quarterback could get the ball in the flat, you had to cover up for him. And so, when Ryan came in, I remember Chris Hope. I said, Chris, you gotta kind of just let him do his thing. I said, if he's up there, just get deep. I said, just keep backing up and just be the safety net for him, because he's going to be right like 9 times out of 10. He's right, but he's going to be wrong every now and then too. I said, like, I know, but I can't. I don't want to stop him. Because he's got too much football instinct. He's earned the right to do that. And not everybody was him. It was, and I made sure they understood this is not for everybody. And I would just say, go in the video the next day, I go, Troy, you're wrong here, but I know you're right most of the time. And good job, Chris Hope, by covering him up. But Troy, be careful and know the situations. There's times when you don't have to do that. So situational awareness was really, really important for us. And I said, there's times early in the game, I get it. There's times late in the game when we don't want to have to sit there and take the risk of giving up a big play. So situational awareness, down and distance, time of the game, score, that dictated a lot of the decision-making I was hoping he would make.
Another guy I think was like the heartbeat of y'all's defense, Joey Porter. Speak on that guy and what he brought to the group.
PZ, he was, another guy that was kind of like, he had, Joey and I went back when we drafted him, and, he sat there and, he was behind Greg Lloyd and he kind of paid his dues, and all those guys came. I made all those guys come in. They all played special teams their first year. No one really became a starter. Even the Hines Ward was covering kickoffs his first 2 years. And, listen, I was a special teams player. I wasn't going to let anybody, I don't care how you got here. You want to appreciate the game of football? Let's cover some kicks and let's maybe block for some returns. So I'm going to put you out there on 4th down. That's where I made a living, just to appreciate the fact that the other guys are out there doing it. So,
yep.
And so,
Coach has still got me appreciating it on field goals. So
hey, you're still doing it, right? Hey, there's more block kicks this year than I've ever seen before.
Oh,
right?
It's crazy.
It's
nuts.
Because the ball's getting kicked lower. It seems like the ball's getting kicked lower. I think that they're trying to kick the ball further.
Yeah, they're going for distance. I tell you that.
I know. So, but anyway, Joey was the heartbeat of our defense. Really heartbeat of our team. He'd get up and talk, and when he talked, everyone listened. We almost had like him and Alan Fanek on the offensive line. Jerome would talk. Hines would talk. Troy would say some things periodically, but he really didn't like to get up. Casey Hampton was one of those guys too. Casey, I'll give you a great story on Casey. So, Casey would come out on third down. He was totally a first and second down player. So he came off the field after second down, third down. They get a first down. And I hear him going, cursing a little bit, running back out. First down, we stop him. Second down, third down comes out. I throw the dime back out there. Casey's running off. And he's like, okay. All of a sudden, I get a first down. Now he's cursing. He's running past me, cursing in my ear. What the? I go, hey, listen. I go, I'm not out there, man. Don't yell at me. So first time, second down, he comes off. He stops. He stops right at the numbers. He goes, you guys better effing get off the field. I'm not coming back out here. I've done my job. I'm tired of you guys giving up the third down. Yeah. He was pointing. I go. See, I said, they're not listening to me.
Coach, I want to move on. Your story. Being from Pittsburgh and then as an undrafted free agent signing with the Browns. How does that happen?
Well, it's really funny, Cam. I was with the Eagles initially, and I got cut. And I was in 1979. I was a free agent, a 12-round draft. I got cut in the last cut. I went down, got in school, and I was a GA. So I was actually a grad assistant coaching linebackers. It was my first time I ever coached with NC State. And so because Carl Peterson knew Ernie Accorsi were good friends in Cleveland, he says, give this kid a chance in Cleveland. So I got a signing bonus of $1,000. They took out the taxes, was $678. I had that check in my office for my entire 15 years. Oh, wow. So when guys came in and started talking about their contract and the fact that there wasn't enough guaranteed money and that there wasn't enough upfront money, we used to get up out of the chair and walk over to the wall. I said, there's a lot of great pictures here. Look at this, the old Three Rivers Stadium. I said, there's some great, there's a Super Bowl picture there from Arizona. I go, yeah, and there's a check. I go, what's that? I go, yeah, that was my check. I said, it was like, I played for $1,000 my rookie year when I played on the Cardiac Kids in 1980 because I loved the game. I really didn't think, I haven't even cashed that check. Look at that check is right there. I didn't even cash it. I wasn't playing for money. I played because I loved the game. I said, so come on back. Let's go back. And what were we talking about again? But we played for the Browns, played for the Cardiac Kids my rookie year, and my parents still live in Crafton. Oh, and wow. So when we'd come down, my first time we played in Pittsburgh. My dad was a big fan, and he was like, wherever I was at, he was going to be that fan. And he put like a Cleveland Browns sticker on the back of his bumper. I said, Dad, that's probably not a good idea. You don't have to do that. I know that you love your son. I know that you'll follow us. He goes, no one's going to tell me what to do. Well, that's when you had the aerial, the car. Uh-huh. Every week when we played them that week, somebody that night would come and they would take his aerial and put it into a P. And like he was going to stay up every year. The 2 years after that, when Cleveland came to Pittsburgh and I was on the Browns, he stayed up every night the night before the game to see if he could catch that guy who was taking that aerial and making it a P the day of the game. So he was, but then when I came to Pittsburgh and I end up coming back there. So I played there for 3 years. I got traded to Philadelphia. I played there for 2 years. And then when Marty Schottenheimer took over, he called me up and asked me if I wanted to get into coaching. And I was 28 years old. And, I was always a special teams player. So I was always thinking about life after football and what I'd want to do. And when I had that little taste of coaching at NC State, I thought, maybe being a teacher or being a coach and hopefully maybe coaching college would be nice. So I had that and had a chance to go back. I had special teams captain, but it was just too good of an opportunity. And it was my fifth year and I had 3 knee surgeries and they were all orthoscopic, nothing that was serious. But I just wanted to get into it. And so I started with Marty. I spent 2 years there and coaching special teams, 2 years coaching secondary. I went with Marty to Kansas City and coached Derek Thomas and Neil Smith. I was a defensive coordinator there with Kansas City. Tony Dungy was the defensive back coach with us there. And then I came in 1992, and it was 34 years old coming back there. And I mean, it was pretty surreal. You know, I remember getting the call, and I came in there, and Mr. Rooney offered me the job after like a couple weeks. And I remember going back to Kansas City, and I was laying in bed with my wife. I said, wow. I said, man, if I don't screw this up, in 3 years, I can go back to my 20th high school class reunion as the head coach of my hometown team. So my first goal was don't get fired in the first 3 years. So that was my first experience. And then obviously, you know, matter of fact, ironically enough, that year was 95, the third year, and we had just lost the championship game against the San Diego Chargers. And we had our 20th class reunion. So my wife at the time, they was having this on a boat. The Gateway Clipper was down there. So they must be having a dinner right there on the boat. So I told my wife we're going to stop by, and she goes, "Oh, we're not going to stop by there. All they're going to do is tell you how great you are and this and that." And I go, "No." I go, "Listen, we'll just stop by and we'll go to dinner afterwards." So we had a dinner reservation. I said, "Stop in and say hi." So I stop in, and all of a sudden I'm saying hi, everything, and the boat takes off. I'm going, "Oh, what's going on?" He go, "It's a dinner cruise." I go, "Oh shit." I go, so now my wife's over there and she thought I planned. I go, I really didn't know this was going to be a dinner cruise. I said, so I was on that boat for 3 hours, and all the buddies I went to high school with, by about the second hour after I've had a few drinks, start telling me all the bad calls I made in the championship game and why I don't give them tickets for any of the games. So everyone became unfiltered as they had more drinks in them. And so on the way home, I had my friends I wasn't talking to. My wife wasn't talking to me because she didn't even want to be there. So it was my 20th high school class reunion I will never forget.
Oh, my gosh. And so the 90s, you guys are in the AFC Championship, don't get a chance to win the Super Bowl. That 2005 team, winning that Super Bowl, what did it feel like to finally reach the mountaintop?
You know, it's interesting with that, Cam. I said, you know, the year before we were 15-1, and Ben's rookie year, and we beat the Jets, but I could kind of tell it was just not our Ben's best game, and it was just hard to keep it going. I mean, we kept, you know, it's like one of those things sometimes. I always said, you know, sometimes a loss is not the worst thing in the world for you. It kind of keeps you centered. We lost that championship game to the Patriots, and, you know, we were still preseason favorites to go back. We had everybody coming back. We added a few people. And we got off to 7-2 that year. And we lost 3 straight games in the middle of that season, got to 7-5. And those 3 games, we felt like we hit the bottom. And I just remember we had 4 games left. It was 12 games, 7-5. We used to have the goal board. I just said, listen, you know what? There's no more sitting there looking at goals. The only goal we have is to win the rest of the time. We're in the playoffs. It's 1 game at a time. And we beat Chicago at home with the snow coming down. They had won 6 in a row. And Jerome had the infamous run over Brian Urlacher, which kind of set that tone. Next week, we had to go to Minnesota. They had won like 7 in a row up in Minnesota. We won that game like 20 or 18, 15 to, I don't know, 18 to 12 or something, very close. Then we went to Cleveland, and we beat them pretty bad. And then we had to beat Detroit at home, and we won that game. So we went in there as a 6th seed. And I always remember that 6th seed, that at that time they said, listen, no 6th seed has ever gone to a championship game, let alone gone to a Super Bowl. So don't get your hopes up high. And just remember that, you know, they're going to be one and done even if they win this weekend, because we're opening up against Cincinnati, which was the last team to beat them. So we came into the meeting that Monday after the game. We were playing them that weekend. I just told him on that Wednesday, I think I gave him Monday off. And I said, before you start and look at the game plan, just keep your book shut. I said, I'm not going to sit here and be naive, you know, for you guys not to know that you've been listening to the fact that we're a 6th seed and no 6th seed's ever done anything. So I went on to tell a story about Christopher Columbus and the fact that Christopher Columbus went on this trip, surrounded himself with a bunch of people who believed in him. They told him, don't do it. It's a death trip because the world is flat. But he thought there was something else out there, even though they told him that that's not the case. Well, he went on to discover America. And my point was very simply this, is don't let history dictate your future, but let your future make history. Just because nothing been done, it doesn't mean we can't do it. And so we kind of used that theme as we went through it. And it was first Cincinnati, then it was Indianapolis, then we went to Denver. And on that run, it was like we were the underdogs and we were backed into a corner. And I just kept reminding me, like, remember, no one's ever done this before. And I said, when someone tells you can't do something, isn't that the greatest motivation in sports? Isn't that the greatest motivation in life, to be told you can't do something? Everybody who's done anything significant has been told you probably shouldn't do it or you can't do it. And that always has been the extra motivation we've always needed, to prove people wrong. And so that was something I rode that theme and that theory about all that right up into that last game. And, and certainly after we win that game, it was just like, wow, my first Super Bowl, and it took 14 years to get there. But you know what, though? It was a group of guys we had, guys like you, Cam, who embraced every one of those journeys, who embraced the getting knocked down, but said, you know what, there'll be no more defined by how many times we continue to get back up. And you become resilient. You become tough, mentally tough. I didn't worry about being physically tough. I knew, but I want us to be mentally tough. I want us to embrace challenges. I want to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And being told, oh, man, you can't win the big one. You can't do this. You haven't won this. Don't let anybody tell you what you can't do, because your mind, and you have a group of people that think like you, is powerful. And so I just think you can surround yourself with people who think the same way you do, who don't let the outside people affect or deflect what you have focused on. You can accomplish anything.
Damn, Coach.
Damn. Coach, I want to know, honest opinion, when Jerome Bettis fumbled that football, what was your first reaction in the India game?
Jerome, seriously? And then, he fumbles up. Hey, how about this? I'm coming back, Cam, for the alumni. I won't see you because it's the night before the game. I have to go to Buffalo to do the CBS stuff. But my wife is coming in, and my daughter's coming in. My grandkids are coming to that game, and you guys are playing the Colts. And I said, game, that's the game in that playoff run that it was. Troy had an interception that they said wasn't an interception. It was. Jerome, we're up by 3. All you got to do is hold on to the football. And Jerome hadn't fumbled all year. He fumbles all year to a guy named Harper who was stabbed the night before. I can't even make this up. And then you got the only guy, the best athlete on the field is Ben, who's running backwards, and he has to make this lunging tackle just to trip up Harper. Now Peyton's got the ball at midfield with 3 shots going to the end zone. Who's he go after? Our rookie right corner, Brian McFadden. And B-Mac makes some of the great plays in that game. And then you had the most accurate kicker in NFL. Vanderjagt is coming out to kick the game winner. I ice him. I call timeout, and he's like pointing at me. I'm like, what do you think I'm going to do? I'm like, yeah, I got a timeout left. I might as well ice you. So, and he kicks the thing wide right, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, maybe I didn't. You in the back of your head, you're just thinking, man, almost anything that could have happened in that game, and we kept overcoming it. You start to think maybe we are a team of destiny. I wouldn't let that enter into our thinking, but you started to start thinking, you know what, we can do this. We're going to do this, because we had gotten embarrassed on Monday Night Football that same year in Indianapolis. It was like a revenge tour. Cincinnati, TJ Houshmandzadeh is wiping his shoes with our terrible towel, and that's the only thing I showed the night before the game. I said, I'm going to leave you with one thought before you go to bed, and I showed that. And we had Tyrone Carter, and every time TJ would catch the ball, Tyrone Carter was like stepping on him or just doing something. And then the second game was Indianapolis embarrassed us on a Monday Night Football. Then we had to go to Denver. And Denver had beaten us in so many years, it had denied us in championship games twice.
Man. And Ben, a year before you draft him, and that draft class having Eli Manning, Phillip Rivers, and Ben. How did you wind up having Ben Roethlisberger be the best out of all 3? And, you guys had the best, kept secret.
Yeah. And it was, he fell to us. I mean, Cam, we were very fortunate. Honestly, I said, when you looked at Eli and you look at Philip, they played at major colleges, and, you know, they come from the DNA of their families of obviously Eli with Peyton, and Philip's father was a high school coach, and he was married with kids. And, you know, Ben was kind of the raw one, had all the ability, but, you know, was he probably would have to sit and wait a while. So he gets to us, and I'm thinking, okay, we still had Tommy Maddox and Charlie Batch. And so we get into camp, and all of a sudden Ben's going to be number 3, which is fine. I said, you know, he'll take some 1 minute and stuff. All of a sudden, about the third preseason game, Charlie Batch gets hurt. I'm like, oh, okay. So he said he should be back around the 4th week. I said, okay, well then we're okay. I said, we'll just give Ben he can back up Tommy Maddox, but we'll give a little bit of time. Well, in the second game, we go to play the Ravens, and Bart Scott knocks out Tommy Maddox. I mean, he's out. I mean, now all we got is Ben, and Ben just knows the 1 minute. And so all of a sudden Ben comes in and he just starts going up and down the field. I'm like, wow. And we had like one of the audibles we had called was a number that if it ended in 9, it was a go. If it ended in 1, it was a hitch. So he calls this 9, like 7, 8, 9. It was like had 9 sometimes was the first number or the second number, and whatever he called in the huddle, listen to the first or second number and listen to the last number, and it'll give you was the route. So he calls 9, and all of a sudden he goes back, and we take off, and he throws the hitch, and McAllister picks it off for a pick 6. I go, Ben, what happened? He goes, Coach, I called the 9, and he goes, and the receiver, he didn't run the hitch. I go, Ben, 9's the go. He goes, oh yeah. I go, okay. I go, no. I go, listen, we're good. I said, you know, Wiz, shut it down. I said, he's the only guy. He's the only quarterback we got left. I go, we have no one left. And so his week 3, we went down to Miami. It was like a big storm. We ran the ball, and the rest of the time, you know, Ben came in, and we kept giving a little bit more as he was doing it. But Alan Finnick will tell you a great story. He says, I don't think he says it was till like week 8 that first time he saw Ben's face in a huddle, because everything he was doing was reading the play. His head was down and on 2, and he'd go up and everyone's leaving. So but I tell you what, he really was one of those guys. And it was funny because the first year when he would felt more comfortable out of the pocket. He wanted to play street ball. So we'd get down, we'd play a game, and, you know, this is when I became the bad cop and Wiz was the good cop. So I pulled Ben in. I watched the game on Monday. I said, Ben, you got to go through your progressions. There's a check down right here. Your reads from here to here, too high, see the safety. I said, as soon as anything gets a little yucky in the pocket, instead of stepping up, you want to get out here and just play street ball, throw the crossing ball over here to Plex or throw it down here to Hines. I go, you know, that's just not sustainable. And he'd walk out of there like, oh, we won, didn't we? I'm like, yeah. I go, I know we won. Just understand what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to get you to understand it. Then I'd go down and tell Wiz after he get done with Wiz. I go, Wiz, tell him I'm really not that mad. I go, just keep doing what he's doing. I'll be the bad cop. I go, he don't have to. I go, but just tell him he's okay. He's okay. So I go, I'm okay. He can be mad at me all he wants. I go, I'm good. I go, just make sure he's in a good place because you're with him all day long.
Oh my gosh, Coach, you were plotting the whole time. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, he was a young player, right? Just a young player. And, you know, I think it's like right around the time, because Troy started it's like you start to see some of these guys that come along and you really don't want to harness them, right? It's like, you know, and maybe it's because it was later in my career that early on, come on, just do what you're supposed to do. But sometimes a player has to play better than you can coach them. And I just felt like that was something to me that I realized that probably as I was coaching longer, that the more freedoms within what they're doing and let them take ownership over it, that there's certain guys that they come along that you have to let them do that. I mean, Cam, you're there for 15 years. I mean, there's sometimes you do the things you do. It may not be what was exactly designed, but you have a feel for the game because you love the game. You see certain things and you start to understand. And certain players just have that feel and chemistry for the game that you don't want to harness greatness. And you don't want to pull back from a guy that just all of a sudden he has something that's special, and let him do it, man. It's like an artist. Like you have guardrails. You pull the guardrails in when you need to, but at the same time, let him paint.
I dig it, Coach. There's been plenty of times Coach Mitch made sure our technique was flawless. He was always about the little things.
Right.
Over the years, you earn that trust because
you saw things. You saw things in stances. Yeah. You saw things in the knuckles, right?
Yeah, knuckles. You start looking at play awareness and what a team likes to run. And,
right.
If you can predict that, you're going to have a lot of success.
You studied the formations, which was amazing. Listen, we had Aaron Smith. Aaron Smith, to me, Aaron so many times with all the blitz zones that we used to run, Aaron always had the remaining back. So he always said, Aaron, you always have number 3. He was number 3. I go, yeah, number 3. There's 1, 2, 3 strong, 1, 2 weak. Just find number 3. Just find number 3. And so, but Aaron, I go, Aaron, you can't be standing up before the snap looking in the backfield because they know it's going to be a blitz because you're looking for a coverage. I said, so even if you're rushing, then just stand up a couple times and look in the back because I know if you start looking for something, they know we're bringing some kind of blitz because you're looking for the guy you have to cover.
Coach, I know what play you're talking about. You're talking about dime away, weak Cobra White.
You guys still running it?
We don't run it anymore, but I've ran it.
That was it. That's the one. I love that. It was dime away, weak Cobra White. Yeah, because it's quarters coverage. It's a roll into the weak side, dime away, and you're playing quarters on the front side.
So the funniest thing about that is I've heard the story about how Aaron had the back.
He had the back,
and we're supposed to give it up if it goes straight to the flat.
Right.
And we're just going to drop to the hook.
Right.
But he went straight to the flat, and nobody was there in the flat. And so Aaron came off bitching about, where the hell was my help?
He did. I said, when's the last time a defensive line was talking about, where's my help in the flat? And I said, Aaron was, if Aaron was 100% right. But you know what, though? When he first started doing that, he started looking at, because you have tendencies with formations, right? You see certain 3x1s and 2x2s, and where's the back, and they're like the depth. Starting to look at the depth of the back. Is he 6 yards? Is he 7 yards? So you're looking back there. I said, Aaron, they quick snap, man. You're going to get hit right in the chest right now. So.
Well, Coach, that same play call, I remember we were playing Kansas City, and this is when they had Kareem Hunt,
right?
And he started out flat, but then he worked to a seam.
Oh, did you have him?
Yeah.
So you were the Aaron Smith.
Yes. And so all I did was hold my hands up like this, praying to God that they do not throw this way. And so they threw it. Alex Smith threw over his head, and he didn't catch it. And I went, thank God we're off the field right now.
I was going to say with Mitch, I said when Aaron left, you would have been the natural one to take that over. Just give Cam number 3. You got the remaining back, yep. and what if they go empty? Well, then you're going to have to go empty. Just if they go empty, just push. We used to push the linebacker out. Don't worry about the weak side. Now you got to think strong side.
Yeah, I love when the back stayed in the backfield and then I could add back to the rush.
Yeah. Well, if he didn't stay in the backfield, the quarterback wasn't holding the ball that long because they didn't have enough guys to block it. So,
Coach, when you watch teams now, are you watching coaching? Are you watching players? Are you watching schemes? What is it like through your head in watching these teams now?
I like watching them just develop and see who they are. I always think I've said this before, and I talk with a lot of coaches around the league, and I love the game, Cam, and I love to see guys succeed. So it's just watching them week to week, and so many times in the studio, like sometimes I think we speculate on a lot of things, but we don't know what's being said in that room and in that meeting room on Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and whose responsibility is it? The receiver's fault? Is it the quarterback's fault? What was the coverage? Should he have carried him, not carried him? So I just like to see the teams that are playing fast and playing confident, and the teams that aren't beating themselves. And I think that's a very good sign. The can you adapt to penalties? And the post snap penalties to me, that's like you're going to push the envelope a little bit on that. You're going to find out how they're going to call the game, and you got to adapt and adjust. Joey, I think, Porter Jr., I said, Joey's just got to get a feel for, are they calling the hand check or not? I mean, we play bump and run all the time. And some referees will let you kind of play around and get handsy with them, but some people get they don't let you do it. So, I mean, just respect the fact where they are. And so I just think the pre-snap penalties is also a reflection of focus and being able to, like, come on, don't beat yourself and turn the football over. Just seeing the mentality and just seeing the teams that they play hard. I'm impressed with Tampa Bay and what Baker Mayfield's done. And you haven't had a chance to see them, but, Larry Foote's down there coaching that secondary. And I mean, I have so much respect for Todd Bowles and what he's doing. And listen, I think, like where you guys are right now, it's just like you're getting a feel for it. I love the fact that you're blitzing a little bit more and just moving some things around. I like creativity and doing things. I think that's today's game, whether it's motion on offense or pressure on defense, and not to be predictable. I mean, I grew up that way. I think it's more chess than checkers. I like to make it chess, which is like I want you to be able to have to think about who's coming from where as a quarterback. And I think when you have a lot of motion and doing some things from that side of the ball, how it can get a little – when defenses have to communicate, there's always a chance for miscommunication. So the more you can make them communicate, there's always a chance for something to get miscommunicated. So that was always kind of a theory that I had, and I like gimmick plays, and I just like seeing creativity and watching teams grow through the course of a year. Let me ask you this question. It's going from 16 to 17 games. How significant was that?
I think it's very significant. It's another game added on, but it kind of shifts when the playoffs are already, shifts when your division games are. It's another toll on your body. And as you take away more from the preseason, it's more of just getting ready for the regular season.
Right. Do you feel, let me ask you, do you feel the first month of the season is almost just acclimating yourself to the speed of the game? That's so funny. I said the first game of the season, all these guys, they've not played a full game yet.
Yeah.
So it's almost, it's almost like this is their first full game. So let's not get too pricked, and let's not pass too much judgment too fast until you get to after really that first month of the season, right?
Yeah. Coach T, I think he's seen so many times where he's lost players in preseason that, he told me before the season, he was like, I just got to get you out of training camp. And,
Right.
I'll deal with whatever in the first month, but I'm scratching and clawing to get on the field, but he kind of sets the tone, and it's, get ready for week one.
Right. And I think, again, I said this before, like where you're at, somewhere along the way, I just think you have to think about snap counts and think about somewhere in the middle of the season, if you, not that you're going to take a game off or do anything like that, but if you can have a game where you can start thinking about substitution wise and just thinking about a way to keep people fresh. And see, sometimes, people get hurt early in the season, you see them come back and they've only played 12 games maybe, but they're playing their best football at the end of the season because they got fresh legs. Because they, it's hard to play 20 straight games and being at the same quality of play that you were from week one. So just trying to monitor that, I think, is probably just another element of the game today that I think would be interesting, that I think you'd have to think about, as a coach. So I'm always thinking about it when I watch a game, is the strategical part of it, how you would handle certain situations, and, and seeing some of these guys dropping balls before they get into the end zone, like, wow. That's something I'm sure that Mike brings to your attention on Monday. Like, I'm sure you guys won't do this, but I got to show this to you. This is happening right now in the league, right?
Oh, he's showing every gaffe. He wants us to be well aware of what's going around the league. So either we can weaponize it or we make sure we're not doing it.
Right.
Coach, I'm curious. You're super into you obviously are still really into the game. Obviously, we know you still covered us for CBS. You retired at 49. How close were you to ever getting another head coaching job, whether it was college or pro?
Oh, I never would have entertained college. I've had a lot of chances to entertain the pro. I stepped down, and I lost my wife 3 years later, and I met pretty much pretty quickly my current wife. And, so I kind of moved up to New York City and got involved with this part of the game. And, as much as I thought about it, to be quite honest with you, I stepped down from Pittsburgh. I can never see myself in another uniform or coach for another team. I was that wouldn't have seemed right. I walked away on my own, and, to that day, Mr. Rooney and the Brunies have they're just great people. And I couldn't even imagine going to another place. It was just a unique atmosphere, walking in that building every day. And, Mr. Rooney was like a father to me. He was like a friend to me. And got no Pat, and Art is still the same way. And I don't know, growing up there and everything else. So I did talk because I just wanted to make sure but it was like at the time, I was fine. I said, it was 15 years and we won a championship, and I left it in a good place, left it in a better place than I found it. And it was great that Mike came in, and pretty much it was a lot of the same staff. And so it was just, I had to make a decision personally. And 3 years later, after being out, having an off season, having a little bit of anonymity up here in New York City, it was kind of like, wow, okay, this is a kind of a cool life. Like I can go to the grocery store and, I can pick out cantaloupes and tell our little ladies how you pick out a cantaloupe. Like, if you press the top of a cantaloupe and it's soft, that's how it's good. It's like, oh, thank you, sir. I'm like, oh, no problem. I learned that in crafting, so it's okay. But you know what? New York City is a great place. Still living here today, married, and we've got I got 8 grandkids. So, and it's just life is good. And I love my platform at CBS. My 19th year there. Love the guys I'm with, and I like to use that platform as an opportunity to kind of be a guardian of the game from the standpoint of being able to inform players and the people about what it's like to be in that building, what it's like to be behind those doors, because I was there and I know there's a lot that we don't know and we're just speculating. And so like, a lot of times we make the noise a lot louder on the outside than it really is on the inside, because you get kind of conditioned to block it out. And because you're pretty much tunnel focused on what you need to do. And, that's the best organizations are that way. So, trying to bring a sense of reality and like, kind of just realness to the people out there. And at the same time, I sit there with Nate, with Matt Ryan, guys that have played the game, get to watch all the games every Sunday. So it's great. And I think we all have a great appreciation for being in the National Football League, what it stands for. Guys like Cam, who's Walter Payton Man of the Year, and man, that's what the NFL is about. Because guys like Cam, like they're gonna, you sit there and they're gonna give back to the community. They understand the platform that they're on, and they make your city a better place because of who they are, because how they were reared, and because of the very fiber who they are as people. They're great players, yes, better people, no question.
Wow, Coach, you were very nice. Last question for me, and then I'll let Hayden finish with a quick little game. What did you tell Coach T when he first got to the Steelers, and how did you prepare him for it?
So we met, and I said, I'm going to give. I said, I'll leave you one thing. There's an Iron City beer in the refrigerator, and I said, I'll give you the same advice that Chuck Noll gave me. None. Figure it out yourself. I go, and good luck. If you ever need a call. I never called Chuck. He's never called me. We always have a beer and we get together and just talk about what a great job we have. So, you know what? You figure it out, and so much respect for Mike and what he's done and going through this, and and it's just just being with Kevin and Art and just the whole Rooney family, and that. The city of Pittsburgh. I mean, it's just, there's something pretty special about that. And, and so then, being, a lot of players we're not going to go anywhere else, and you're not going to go anywhere else. I remember talking Hines out of signing somewhere, talking Troy out of signing somewhere. I said, just be a one helmet guy, man. Just like I was, could I have gone somewhere else? Yeah. But I got to be honest with you. I said, I just could never see myself not being a Pittsburgh Steeler, to be honest with you. And I said, it's just, there's something pretty special about that. And that's why I think you're seeing people recognize that when they come into that building. There's a uniqueness to it. There's a history to it. There's a tradition to it. There's a beauty to it. And I think that's, to me, what the Pittsburgh Steelers stand for.
Where were Hines and Troy about to go? That's the question I really got to know now.
Well, I mean, I think they were at a point in their career they probably could have gone somewhere for another year or two. Mm-hmm. Because it's like sometimes you have to make that choice, and those are the tough decisions you have to make, and so. But I think that there's something special about being with one team. I think personally, I think there's something about that, and I don't know. It's just it makes it unique. There's a uniqueness about that building. Cam, you've been going in there for 15 years. You know it very well. Very little has changed. Things you probably some things you wish would change, but like the turf on the field.
Coach, what's your take on the turf? It was bad when you were there. How is it still so bad?
Well, because you have the high school teams that play there. Pitt plays there. And I mean, usually it was right around Thanksgiving so it's a little earlier this year. So
yeah, the state championships are played there, right?
Yeah, the state championships are played there, but it was, but it'll be fine. I mean, but was it bad though, Cam?
It was bad. It was very bad.
It doesn't help the pass rush. I know that. So I think offensive linemen.
A lot of digging. A lot of digging.
And I don't think Boz liked it very well either.
Oh, poor Boz. But he's a kicker. He'll survive.
That's
all right,
great.
Coach. We like to play a game here with all of our guests. It's called This or That. I give you a few options. You got to pick one, okay?
Okay.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Rather host a playoff game at Three Rivers or Heinz Field?
Three Rivers.
Ooh.
More intimidating, James Harrison or Greg Lloyd?
I don't want to make either one mad. Both.
Better pass rusher, Kevin Green or Joey Porter?
Kevin Green.
Got to pick one to man your middle of your defense, Levon Kirkland or James Ferrier?
Is it short yardage or long distance?
Short. All right, Coach. Better secondary, Rod Woodson or Troy Polamalu?
Wow. That's great. I'll take them both. One's a safety, one's a corner.
Give it out for me. All right. Better athlete, Cordell Stewart or Hines Ward?
Oh, man.
Oh, wow. Cordell played. He could have been a Pro Bowl receiver. And he was I would say Cordell.
All right, last one. Who do you enjoy beating more, the Ravens, the Browns, or the Bengals?
Oh, that's easy. The Ravens.
I love it, Coach. I love it. Coach, I got to say thank you so much for coming on. You have been a joy. We all enjoy you on CBS, but, man, spending this time with you was really special.
Well, thanks, Cam. And listen, I'll get a chance to see you when we come back to Pittsburgh. And, hey, good luck the rest of the year, seriously. I mean, you're a legend in Pittsburgh, and you need to have an opportunity to experience what I had the joy experiencing in my 14th year. So, you know what? It's around that same time. It's your 15th year, so this is your year for you. So, and you know what? Sometimes absence makes the heart grow fonder. So you haven't had it for a while. You appreciate it even more now.
Oh, I will. I promise you that. All right,
that's
thanks,
great,
Coach.
man.
Appreciate you.
Thanks, man. Thank you, man.
Thanks, Coach.
Bye now.
Support for this show comes from Starbucks. The Real Pumpkin Spice Latte is now in season at Starbucks. As a football player, the end of July through August is always challenging. It's the dead of the summer. I've got coaches putting me through drills as we get ready for the upcoming season. It's a part of the game I love, but only one thing gets me through the season, and that's pumpkin spice lattes from Starbucks. That's right, Starbucks pumpkin spice lattes are officially back in the starting lineup. Handcrafted with Starbucks signature espresso, steamed milk, and real pumpkin. Then topped with whipped cream, cinnamon, and nutmeg. I was able to get my hands on a few PSLs. I gotta say, they're pretty awesome. So now that PSLs are back, coffee lovers everywhere can enjoy all the fall moments that happen at Starbucks all season long. Starbucks pumpkin spice latte, get it while it's hot, or iced?
All right, Cam. It's everybody's favorite segment of the show.
Is
You're
it?
contractually obligated to answer any question asked and ask Cam anything. And everyone, please remember, go to our socials, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, wherever else you find us, and ask Cam a question. Use the hashtag ACA, and Cam will answer anything. Cam's going to go ahead and tell you that I'll answer questions too, but nobody ask me questions because nobody cares what I got to say. Okay,
right.
Let's go on here. Cam, you ready to go?
Let's go.
All right, who is the one player you never got to play against that you wish you had?
Play against? Oh, man. Man, I've played against so many great players.
15 years makes that tough.
Oh, thanks. I would say the one player I wish I got to play against. Oh, man.
What are you thinking here? You going offensive line, quarterback? Like it's got to be one of those two, right? It wouldn't be like a receiver or anything.
No, it wouldn't be a receiver. You know, I played against Brady, played against Peyton. I'm trying to remember. Shoot, like, damn, I've played against so many, almost everybody. I would say the one guy I never got to play against, Elway. Oh,
I mean, yeah.
No, I wish I got a chance to play Brett Favre.
I was going to say, it's got to be Elway. No one thought you were that old. Like,
I know.
Elway.
Yeah, I was Brett Favre. I think we almost overlapped early in my career, but I wish I got a chance to play against Favre. He did everything in the league. Playing against that Favre team with Reggie White would be pretty fun.
Looks like you missed him by a year.
Yeah.
All right, next question. Thank you for that. What is your go-to pump-up song before games?
Oh, man. Go-to pump-up songs.
Girlfriend by Avril Lavigne.
No. I've been really into a lot of Beethoven lately.
Get out of here. Are you serious?
I listen to some classical music like when I get on the field, and it's actually really good. It's on my playlist right now.
Wait, so when you have like this angry look on your face and you're warming up, you just got Beethoven on the headphones?
Actually, it's not Beethoven. I just made that up. But I do have a lot of classical music.
If it's not Beethoven,
Vivaldi.
who is it? Who?
It's Vivaldi.
Oh,
Yeah.
not familiar.
Four Seasons.
Four Seasons, I know. What song you go with the Four Seasons? Over the Night?
No, Concerto. Yeah. O Fortuna. You know that one? You've heard that one.
I don't think I have. Play it. Or I don't know. Copyright might not allow
we can't play it, but O Fortuna is very good. But there's a lot of stuff. That's how I start off. But I listen to other stuff. You know who else has a favorite pump-up song? TJ Watt.
What is his? Turn Down for Watt?
No.
Oh.
Knife Talk. Drake and 21 Savage. He has to listen to it every single game. That and Mob Ties. He loves Mob Ties. Those are his go-tos.
Wow, thanks. Anybody else got good go-to songs?
Oh man. We went a lot of alternative rock for this past game. We had some there was some stuff on there. I was like, whoa. We had Red Hot Chili Peppers on there. We had
Creed
was played.
Nickelback?
No Nickelback was played.
How about Switchfoot?
No Switchfoot, but Creed was played. Papa Roach, Last Resort.
Oh man, everyone liked that one at some time.
Linkin Park. We were in the bag.
Who was in charge? Who was in charge of this week's playlist? Do you guys have like themes? Is it like each week themed?
I don't know what I was feeling, but I was playing a lot of stuff all over the place.
You were in your white girl phase there or something like that. I don't know what that was. That was the white girl phase.
I was just all over the place. I was playing a bunch of slaps, and everybody was Mason Rudolph was digging the slaps, I'll tell you that.
You know Rudolph and Coots probably. I'll guarantee Coots enjoyed that too.
Yeah. Oh, Foo Fighters were played a lot too.
Nice. Wow.
You wanted Hero? Hero was a big favorite.
What's the theme this week, if I can ask, or is it not ready yet?
It's not ready. There's a Young Jeezy song. It's called Who Dat. It plays into what we're about to do this week.
Raw dogging it. All right. Anyway,
Oh,
let's go.
hey.
Let's go. You're not very good at list. Let's go to top 5 trash talkers you've played against or in the NFL.
Right now?
However you want to do it.
I got a couple on the team.
Top 5 trash talkers in the NFL. Once again, you are not very good at lists. Just going to be honest with you. So
TJ Watt.
Is he good though? Is he good at it?
Yeah.
Okay, he's good at it. Okay.
He has my respect when it comes to trash talking him. Nick Herbig as well, because the trash talking between those two has been epic this year.
Are they talking trash to each other?
Yes.
During the game?
Not during the game, during practice, but then they talk a lot of stuff on the field. Deshaun Elliott, shout out Deli.
He seems like it. Yeah,
shout out Deli is very keen on that. It's funny. I thought Jalen Ramsey would be more of a talker, and he just is very quiet. But then once he gets turned up to a different level, I gotta say though, when he started talking trash and told him to put in Shedeur Sanders, I laughed at that. That was taking it to a different level. That was top notch right there.
Well, so I saw a video on the internet after he got the sack. He allegedly pointed at Shedeur. So he really did say put in Shedeur Sanders right there? Or is that what you're saying?
I think so. And that is
pretty good.
And I'm going to give you one more Steeler just because I'm going to say.
Okay. Thanks for this list. This is just all Steelers.
You ready for this one?
Yeah.
You're not going to expect this one. Chris Boswell.
No, that's not shocking. You've told me, the serial killer comment or whatever, and then a couple weeks ago we were talking and you're like, yeah, Boz was talking mad shit after he hit the kick week 1. And I was like, oh, he talks shit. And you're like, yeah, he never stops. So,
yes. Just imagine him kicking it through the uprights and then just looking down and being like, boom, in your face. A lot of curse words, a lot of everything, but it hits home.
Okay, now, what was his reaction on the miss on Sunday when his foot went into the ground?
Homeboy was slipping through that grass. I look back, I was like, damn, what the hell happened? But, man, luckily we didn't hurt him on that. Man,
the divot he took there. I will say, too, I did see you fall a few times, too, on there. That field service, man, I don't mean to harp on it, but that clip goes viral. Boz's foot just going into the ground. It's tough. One more thing on this question. What's the most clever thing somebody's ever said to you, trash talk wise?
It's not really clever. A lot of times old linemen just want to talk because it feels like it gets me out of my rhythm.
Have just a regular conversation, how's the wife and kids?
Or just they just want me to talk back to them, and I just kind of completely just shut up and I don't say anything because it feels uncomfortable talking to another team.
Really?
I'll tell you one thing. We were and KB's probably going to get mad at me. We were in Ireland, and we're playing the Vikings, and we're on field goal block, and they have some old lineman going in on field goal, and I see Keanu, give him dap him up for a second. And for some reason, I just got really pissed off. I was just like, don't you shake his fucking hand. I was just, and I was barking at KB for the rest of the game. He ended up balling out after that. But I remember being like, I don't give a damn if he's your nephew or your brother or anything. Don't shake his fucking hand in the middle of a game. You do that shit after the game. We are in the middle of a game. I am pissed off. You should be pissed off too.
So you do not like teammates showing pleasantries during the game?
No, not at all.
I love how, too, you took credit for Benton's big game after you told him off there. You're like, oh, he had a good game after I told him off.
I told him off, but he balled out.
He played great that game. That's great to have. All right. Well, thank you, Cam, for Ask Cam Anything. Everybody remember, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, wherever you find Not Just Football, use the hashtag Ask Cam Anything, and he will answer your questions on the show. Thank you for your questions.
And now it's time for Ask Hayden Anything.
Okay.
The favorite part of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready?
Yeah, sure.
What is your favorite Steeler game of all time?
Oh, favorite Steeler game of all time that I've attended or just watched?
All time.
All time. It wasn't a very well played game, but it would probably be the Super Bowl 40. I was lucky enough to go to it in 2005. We actually talked to Bill Cowher today, so that was a really cool thing. But yeah, I got to go to that game with my family and really see the Steelers, a team I've watched my entire life, win a championship. That was great. But if I'm going to go game that you played in, I think my favorite would be that playoff game in Cincinnati.
Oh, you went to that too.
I was at that one. Yeah, I was at that one. That'd probably be my favorite one. Didn't think I would make it out of the stadium alive that day. I cannot lie. It was very hostile. Saturday night in Cincinnati is a dangerous place to be. But no, that game and the fact that you guys were able to win that game is probably my favorite game of your career. But yeah, no, the Super Bowl 40 would be it for me. It was just my first Super Bowl I ever went to and got to see a win with my family, which means a lot to me. So yeah.
What were you thinking walking out of that stadium after we won that game?
Cincinnati?
Yes.
Oh, my wife was with me. So it was really get my wife and her cousin out of that stadium without causing too much of a problem. Like, bro, I was very excited, but it had to be like, you had to like really limit how happy you were because Cincinnati was not happy.
Because we won that game. Mike T was thinking the exact same way. He said, get the hell off the field, get to the locker room. We'll celebrate there. But man, that was a hostile environment to be a part of. I know we're playing there. A lot of respect for the jungle. But, man, that was an up-and-down game that was pretty epic.
So much, too. Remember, Ben got hurt in that game, got wheeled back to the locker room, ended up coming back out. But remember, there's a clip of somebody throwing a beer at him as he's getting wheeled out to the locker room. Perfect, intercepts the ball, runs to the locker room. Obviously, the melee on the field with Joey Porter, who we've talked to with about several times. So just a very crazy game. And like I said, when you get a Saturday night game, no work the next day, playoff game, division rival, the people were sipping, and it was hostile.
Wait, was the booze or the booze?
There
was the booze. There was people booing.
There was
also the booze.
It was all of the above. Okay. I mean, what a crazy game that was too. If you think back to like Shazier gets the huge strip of Jeremy Hill too late in that game when it looked like it was over. Then Ben comes rolling back out, and it was an unbelievable game. But I will say I was worried at times. But it was probably the most hostile place I've been to in a football game. To be honest with you, very hostile.
They got to do a 30 for 30 on that game because there are a lot of things that happen in that game that are just hilarious to talk about.
Well, and in a sad part, poor AB got lit up in that game too. And it just felt like that fueled that rivalry. That rivalry was really nasty those couple years there. There's the, Drake Kirkpatrick kind of going at Le'Veon, Burfict going at Brown. And then obviously, yeah.
Well, then before that, you have, the hip drop on Le'Veon.
Yep.
And then you watch Burfict and DeCastro go back and forth. You watch Juju take out Burfict. Like, there are so many like little plays from different games that just culminate to that game. It's crazy.
Yeah, wild game. But yes, that would be my favorite game of your career. So, but I'm hoping to change that this year. Hoping we can get to better games this year. How's that sound?
That sounds great.
All right, let's do it.
I like what you're thinking.
That's what I'm thinking.
Well, guys, that is our Ask Cam Anything and Ask Hayden Anything segment. I want to say thank you so much for having the great Hall of Famer, Super Bowl winner, Coach Cowher on. He was awesome to talk to. Drop a like, subscribe on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for Starbucks for their support. There are 3 things that always define the fall: football, cardigans, and Starbucks pumpkin spice lattes. It's time to embrace fall with this seasonal classic pumpkin spice latte, handcrafted with Starbucks signature espresso, steamed milk, pumpkin, and then topped with whipped cream, cinnamon, and nutmeg. Starbucks pumpkin spice latte. Get it while it's hot or iced.